Hi Neha, how are you?
Hi, Swamini. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm also good, thank you. And thanks for joining this call today. I know in the last 2 years we have been talking about doing an MBA from the USA, and I thought it was a good opportunity for me to just discuss because I have a lot of questions because I know you have gotten a full scholarship for doing your MBA in the US. So let's just get started. Can you please tell me a little bit about your background?
Sure. So I actually belong to Surat, and I did my electrical engineering from NIT Surat, and then I got the opportunity to work for Schneider Electric, which is energy management, specializing in energy management. And then I spent there for like 3 years, and I was mainly into the operations of one of the electrical product. Then I went into like I developed my interest into supply chain, so I joined Ford Motor Company. There I spent like 2 years, and then while working for Ford, I thought that like I understood and learned that in order to get a better understanding of the business and also to learn about different aspects of the business, an MBA can help me make and understand and evolve into the other arms of the business as well. So that's when I decided to go for MBA. So to do an MBA, I needed few things, and then first thing was to decide whether which country you want to go or which place you want to go to do an MBA. So first preference for me was to do in India, and then US, and then other countries. So but in India I had an issue with respect to, like, I also wanted global exposure, which I thought that it would be only possible in other countries. So then that's when I decided to go for US, and then I started going through the process, like what are the requirements like GMAT, TOEFL, or your SOP, and all those sort of things. But then I got started with the first process of my GMAT preparation. In the GMAT prepare, once I got the score, and then some people also go with TOEFL because that is one of the requirement. But if there is one clause where you can skip it if you have already if you have already attended 4 years of your college in from English medium, then you can skip it. So those sort of things, though detailing, I went into, and then I applied to as many colleges like where I was interested to go. For example, especially according to my specialization, because I wanted to go into supply chain uh, MBA. So for that, I selected all the colleges, went through the course structure and the scholarship what they provide, whether they are STEM accredited or not. So those sort of things. And then after the application, I was happy to see that I got few scholarships, and one of the most important was like full scholarship from Wisconsin School of Business. And so based on all those things, I decided, and my stay here is really great. I'm learning a lot, and the cohort here is really diverse. So I'm happy, and the course structure is also very say interactive and very thorough in terms of your what you want to do after your MBA. So you can you can channelize the way you want it, you can craft your own journey. And also you get a chance to participate in exchange program, wherein you get to go to other countries and learn from there, the faculty over there, how the environment is there, go into that, work with the client. So those sort of things are really interesting, and I'm happy, I'm glad that I'm here.
Yeah. Okay, that's a really good answer. So I was wondering, like, a lot of students are, because not just because of COVID, but overall, I think the fees is quite high for MBA. So do you think like it's worth it spending so much money, or can students go for like another degree, let's say like like MSc in business management or things like that, or does it make sense, or is an MBA worth it?
So it is subjective. For example, for me, I wanted to do an MBA, and I was like head on, like I want to do into supply chain. I was clear, and I weighed all the options. Like if I do MBA in India, how much would that cost? And if I do in US, how much that would cost, and how to finance my MBA. So I looked into the other options. It is expensive. I do agree with your statement, but we have other other options which we can involve in and get at least for during the MBA period we can finance and fund our MBA as well. So you have multiple options like loans from HDFC and other banks, and then you also have Prodigy Finance, which is actually good, but you have to ensure that whichever colleges you are applying to is listed into their website, because how it works is like they will be directly interacting with the college, they will be getting the complete list or the fee structure and everything, and based on that they will be giving you money, not exactly directly to you but to the institute, and then you will be taking from there. So that's how it works. And one more thing it eliminates is that your forex, you don't have to work on your forex exchange and go into bank and then so many things. So those sort of processes are being eliminated. So these are the options what you have. And we also have non-banking financial institutes which also provide based on how the profile and what is your address, what are the colleges you're going to. So we do have many financing options available in terms of if the MBA you think is very expensive. So yeah.
Okay, so that's a really good answer. Thank you for that. Since we have talked so much about GMAT, I wanted to understand like which all good resources are out there, because I know there are a lot of options, but from your personal experience, which ones do you think are the best?
Sure. Actually, there are many, quite a lot, and as a student, I was like confused, like which one to go for. So yeah, so I would say the good ones would be Manhattan Prep. Veritas Prep has really good. The difficulty of the questions would be very high, so it can help you assess where you will be the test preps. And also Magoosh Test Prep. Those are also good. I personally wanted to enroll for eGMAT as well. That also has got a quite good bank of questions with respect to quant or verbal. And so, yeah, these are the good resources which you can go for that really help you measure and will give you the exact, not exact, close to exact the environment which you will get in at GMAT, when you give the GMAT.
Okay. So, and in terms of other resources, do you think like are there any like good forums or something like that where students can ask each other questions, or they can just learn from other people's experiences?
Sure. I actually forgot to mention about GMAT Club, where you have lots and lots of experience as well as questions and then answers, and you have like different questions would be there. You can discuss along with your peers what exactly is how did they reach out to a conclusion, what are the mechanisms they have had, and you also have few events being hosted, and you will get all the notifications and everything. And they also during the US holidays they have free test prep as well. So that's actually a very good medium for you to explore and work on it. So it's really nice. GMAT Club is the one which I would suggest.
Okay, that sounds good. And also, like in terms of networking events that you said, so I had attended quite a few which were organized by the university itself, where you can attend like lectures and things like that. So, how do you feel about that?
In terms of networking, I would say yes. We had few events like that. You can get to know about the college. You also can ask what exactly your question with respect to course, with respect to like whether it would be online, hybrid model, or how the college is working and how it's going to be in the next semester. I'm lucky that this time everything is happening in person, but there are few colleges how they are working, it's different. So those sort of questions, and like you can get answers to all those sort of questions. So yeah, you can attend those as well.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, so I had another question, was that once you decided to do your MBA, what were the steps that you took? I know you talked about it briefly earlier, but if you could just give us like a thorough description of like step-by-step process of like once, like, whether you should start with your GMAT or your SOP, or how you should go about shortlisting the colleges that are suitable for you. Yeah.
Sure, sure, Swamini. So the thing is, like, when I do these all things which we are discussing, it is actually bringing me back to the time when I started. So once I started like when I started my preparation for GMAT, I looked into the different series available or the coaching centers. But as per my understanding and my experience, I would say that going to going to any coaching institute or any sort of online activity is okay. It's not that helpful. It's all up to you. How do you do it? But in case you need more support, you can go with them. And also, one most important thing I would tell is once you start, try to finish it. Because what has happened with me that I started, but then I took a break. Like I was involved into some, like during my working schedule, I was involved there. So during that time, the connect was missing, and then again I had to start from scratch. So those things actually matters. You have to be very continuous. Like there should not be a gap in between. And second thing is, like after in the second part of my preparation, I was very much focused into all the GMAT only thing that I have to clear it, I have to get it. And then once I got the score, then I decided, like, this is my score and these are my colleges, and how do I need to build now on my SOP. So the SOP is again a very big thing the colleges consider when they consider the candidate for the application process, and also for the scholarship process. So that actually needs a lot of time in terms of your story building, and how does it overall looks like, how it is aligned to the school's curriculum, whether what kind of courses it is offering, how it is aligned. Those things also matter. So I spent around 1 month into it, and then and got it reviewed. So once you have written the story, either you can write it, or you have few institute which will help you, guide you to make your own story in a professional way and write it, like help you write those stories. So once you have written the story, you will get it reviewed. They will also review, or you can also get reviewed from somebody who is already experienced, or somebody who is working into that industry. How does it look like? And somebody who is uh, whomever you can reach out to on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is a very good source in terms of, after the GMAT prep and trying to network with people. So once you have read, like you have your SOP, and you have finalized the number of the colleges where you want to, what are the deadlines, you have to keep tracking all of those, and all should be in sync. And you also have to take care that you're applying in round 1 or round 2 or round 3. After 3 for international, I don't think it's for few colleges it is possible, but it's not advisable because we have to work on visa processes as well. But I would personally say that try to finish your GMAT by, let's say, September max, and then you will have at least 15 to 1 month to work on your SOP, preparation of SOP and everything, and then application as well. So by October or November, you can finish all the application process for round 1. And in case you're not able to, then you have another option of round 2. And then round 3 is very rare, mainly because the very few people would be, the colleges will not be giving you much preference, depending on like whether they have diversity factor or not. Based on that, they'll be taking the decision. So first bet would be on round 1 and then round 2. So that's how I planned. Yeah, so and then that's how. And one more thing is important here is, try to apply all the colleges where you want to go at one round only, so that when they say yes or no, you'll have enough time to think upon. If you are applying in round 1 and you get accepted, and then you will have it not sufficient time to take a decision, and then you apply to few other colleges in round 2, you might end up missing the opportunity which you already have. So those syncing should be there. Otherwise, you might like thinking that in round 2 I'll get it, you might miss the result which you got from round 1. So those small things and the planning thing is required.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I have something to add there, because I was doing my own research about this, and I heard that SOP is quite important. It's like, it's your story. It's like, why do you want to do an MBA? So it's like, where do you come from? Where do you want to go? And how can this particular college can help you get there? So that being
Yeah.
said, I wanted to ask you, like, how can an applicant make his application strong? Because sometimes I am sure, like, you might have heard, like, I know, like, this is not a problem with you, but many students have this issue where their score in, let's say, like, their high school or their college, the score isn't so much, like, isn't that big, but then eventually can they make it up in their GMAT, or how can they justify that they are an ideal candidate for that particular course in a very prestigious university?
Yeah. So the thing is, your college score, your undergrad score matters, but it doesn't give, like, it's not having much of preference. It matters to give the impression to the, the college that yes, you did well, but it does not have to be extremely well. And coming to the point of, your experience also matters. So how was your profile been? Like, what are the companies you worked in? What did you learn? Basically, they see what did you learn and how you will be able to contribute to the class. So if you see the SOP questions, they'll be asking about your journey, what background you're coming from, what did you do in your professional career, and what do you aspire to be. So if and how that MBA which you are interested in will help you achieve your goal over short term and long term. So it's basically connecting the dots. So you can say that this is my background and this is my my score and everything, your GMAT, your profile, and your by profile I mean your career experience, overall experience, and your SOP. And in the SOP you implement all those things, you bridge the gap between your experience and your MBA, and then once you see that it is a connecting story, I think it will make a good SOP. And also you have to see with respect to the college, what college focuses on. I mean, if the college is known for supply chain, let's say, so you have a background, so there are chances that you will get connected. And if not, then you have to provide your a very strong reason to go into that. So it's how you build a story, what was a background. So it depends. I would suggest basically to try to have your own skeleton and then get the help from few people, not to just directly go blindly to some institute and get it written, because it's mainly you have to write, it's your story, you have to build in that way. Yeah, so these are the things which you need to consider, and it is possible. And uh, I'm not sure about like how the top 20 would be considering the top 20 colleges. That also varies. Like the calculation or the evaluation varies from college to college. So if you have a very strong inclination towards that, I think those things, the things which I mentioned would be good. The most important part here comes is the interview process. So during the interview, they will be assessing, they will be mainly looking into the application as well as you, what application says and what you are saying. So those things should be matching. And if it's a match, you're good to go. And based on that, I think you will be getting scholarship amount as well. And based on my experience, I would say that with respect to scholarship, I was not expecting this much, but I'm happy that I got it. So yeah, so you never know.
Okay, so is it like it's like you never know how much scholarship you're gonna get, or is it something that applicants can do something like beforehand to ensure that they'll get like reasonable amount of scholarship?
See, in MBA, I would say there is based on whomever I have interacted and based on my friends like who have applied, everyone has gotten 50 plus scholarship. I mean 50% plus scholarship. And if your profile, your GMAT and your interview process and your overall application process is doing well, based on the merit, you can be getting 100% as well. And again, it depends on course to course. Like for MBA, you will get it. For MS, I would say the scholarship amount would be a bit lesser. And it also depends whether it is 2 year or 1 year course. So these varies. But for MBA, I would say that you would get scholarship, and it would be 50 plus for the colleges which I have applied for. So that's how my story has been, and I think it would be the same for almost all the candidates.
Okay, that sounds good. So, how is your MBA going right now? Like, what are you focusing on your first year, and then what will you be focusing on in your next year?
So, so before we start the MBA, actually, we do some like some kind of preparation to start our MBA, like what we are going to do, how do we prepare ourselves, and those sort of things. And and once we enter, we have to focus more on, first is our academic, and the second thing is our application. Like we have to build a resume and cover letter to, and then start applying for the internship, then interviews. And once we have the internship, like where we want to go and what do we learn going forward. So those things, once those are in place, you can focus more on other extracurricular activities as well, which like you can involve yourself with some club or some kind of some other activities, and then you can focus on your acads. So these sort of activities currently I'm focusing in. And in the second semester, in the second year, I would be mainly focusing on like specializing my course. So currently I'm into supply chain, and then I will be seeing like what are the courses I need to take to build in and to strengthen it. For example, supply chain analytics I have, and then marketing analytics. These are the courses which I am interested in. So those, it depends, like for other person it would be different. So I would be more focusing on the electives which I'll be taking, how the courses would be, and the next important thing is your full-time offer. So then you have to work mainly on the application for full time. And once you are like ready, you will research into other companies as well, what are the other prospects, how the business is growing from different industry perspective. So these are these sort of things which I have planned for the 2 years.
Okay, so and how's the job market looking for the people who are like graduating with their MBAs in the US specifically?
Yeah, I would say that it's actually growing, and the requirement of MBA grads is actually increasing in the US market especially. And for supply chain, it's at the top level, because as you have seen the supply chain disruption, it has affected each and every individual now. So there's a quite a lot of opportunities. So do not think about it, especially from supply chain perspective, operations perspective, and almost like marketing, everything. I would say in general, it's growing a lot.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
So my final question is, what advice do you have for students who are applying for 2022 intake?
Yeah, I would say that just focus on like if you're firm that you have to do an MBA from a particular country or from a particular like specific college, just stick to it and then prepare for it. And the steps already, that you have to give your GMAT, perform best in GMAT. The key thing in GMAT is GMAT or GRE, whichever you are preferring. The key thing is when you start, finish it. Do not keep like give break into it, because that will break the rhythm. And then like you can focus on the other part of the application process. But just one thing is, be continuous. Once you have completed, then you can relax and do whatever you want. But the first thing is, once you start, please finish it, because that's what I think I did the mistake. So yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, all set, all good. You will do good.
Yeah. Thanks, Neha. Thank you so much for your time today and such wonderful insights. I'm sure like this information will be, very useful for most of the students because I know like when I heard that you had gotten full scholarship and then I'm also interested in an MBA. So I thought, it would be a good chance for me to learn more. And yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Harmony. It was really nice talking about my own experience and sharing the experience which I'm having right now. And I would love to have more people and share my experience with them as well. So it was nice. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.